Okay, we're live.
We are live. What a wonderful time to be alive. So this is it, episode 4, right?
Yeah, man,
Look
all
how
of a sudden we
far
get a
we've
show on our hands.
Uh-huh. We've got ourselves a regular Brady's Bunch scenario going on here of wonderful people who have great opinions about Dragon Ball. This is Dragonball Jug. Should we do the little intros?
I think it's a great idea.
Okay. Well, I'm the titular Jug Dish. I bring literally nothing to the table.
So not true.
I know the least of anyone here about Dragon
half
Ball.
memories of shows watched years ago.
Yeah, my main role here is to be like, oh my god, yeah, that. And I do that a lot. But everyone else here is a lot more informed than I am.
You bring the charisma to the show.
Ah, the charisma.
The rest of us are just losers.
And the jokes. Yeah, we're the dorks. You're the cool kid with the jokes.
I'm the jokes. I'm sort of the. Would that make me to make this relevant? Would that make me the oolong of this crew?
You might be Oolong or King Kai in the future.
Oh.
Yeah, King
It's
Kai's
an
good
appropriate
jokes.
episode to decide that too.
You're
Yeah, sure.
You're like the cool kid that like discovered Dragon Ball, like wandered over to like the nerd table and was like, "Hey, can I eat lunch with you guys and discuss this?"
Yeah,
television
and I'm like,
show?"
in order to mask my my nerdiness, I'm like, I've got a football in my hand and I'm just kind of like pounding it the whole time.
In your varsity
Like at
jacket.
any moment, I could just go off and throw this pigskin around with the other roughnecks.
Nice. Keep going. I just realized I forgot to bump the thread. So you guys introduce yourself while I do that. Because that was
Yeah,
stupid.
let's do intros.
I'm Stuntman.
And we're
and,
introducing
uh,
ourselves.
This is everyone's got to introduce themselves. God damn it! Last time I did all of it.
It's your job.
Yep, it is my job, isn't it? Well, Starman's our resident expert, against his will, as we always say. We have Lord of Diapers, our technical expert here. We have
He's
Gray
failing
Fox,
at his job right now.
Yep, we have Gray Fox, the man of mystery, and we have our very special guest here, none other than John Plainman himself. You know him as Pierrot, legend of the Werewolf Threads. Long-time boarder, first-time participant, and he's a diehard fan who's going to regale us with his deep and insightful take on the Dragon Ball saga and its implications on our lives.
There we go. I brought
What it
notes.
says about society.
You brought notes? Tell us about the notes.
Oh yeah, I'm
It's
looking
just
for
like a little
this.
post-it they got there. It says things like vagina pat, Final
Oh,
Fantasy,
nice.
cross-dressing, Bulma breasts,
Oh, homeboy, you have come to the right podcast.
stupid
Are we-
Goku.
Are we all revealing our notes?
This is like if somebody was taking notes on our previous episodes, they would write down.
I've got more
word for word.
notes.
Yeah.
I went with technology
There we go.
versions though.
Man,
Yeah.
you guys bring notes. Man, all of a sudden I feel like way less prepared for the
Yeah, I
party.
bring-
I just want to have
Yeah.
something to say when I run out of witty
Yeah.
rejoinders, so got some stuff.
I just don't
Now-
want
This is a pretty interesting episode, I gotta say. There was a lot going on.
Why don't you tell us
Uh,
about it? Why don't you lead in? Let's go.
Well, I literally just watched it, so
So this is helpful for the premise of this podcast for all of our new fans. Is that here we are gathered around talking about a favorite show of childhood. It was called Dragon Ball, and a friend of ours who was regrettably homeschooled and kept away from all television, no exposure to the cultural wonder that is Dragon Ball, is now hearing about this for the first time and inquiring about it. But this friend happens to be extremely pedantic and wants to know not just the broad strokes of the plot, but literally what happens point for point in as much granular detail as possible. Excruciatingly minute details are warranted, and you will accept nothing less. And thus, we have gathered here to go through this show episode by episode, shot by shot, crotch grab by crotch grab, and really get to the nature of this. And so here we are, episode 4, which is called
Oolong the Terrible.
Oolong the Terrible.
It's a really good partner episode to the one that we just went off because
I think
in the
so.
last episode we were introduced, as we all know now, to Master Roshi, who is one of the world's finest creeps. But his counterpart, well, it's not really his counterpart, but the person that we're about to meet, this person who's also, he's a humanoid pig, he's a small pig who can talk, is maybe the even creepier in a way, or, well, definitely creepier,
I think he's less pervy, actually.
but his actions are definitely possibly way worse, correct?
Well, as someone
yeah,
that just,
well, yeah,
as
I would
someone that
definitely
just
say
saw
so.
Master Roshi shrink himself down to hide in a toilet to see Bulma's vagina, I don't know that Oolong is sunk into
So,
Bulma's
we got-
death.
we
Well,
got
Stuntman
this-
sounded like he
this is
agreed
like-
with me. So, Stuntman, why would you agree that Oolong is even worse than Master Roshi?
Well, I don't think we're gonna get to it this episode, so I think I should kind of hold off on
Okay,
it. but
smart
just,
call.
Just wait
So is
for
this
it.
like a next time on Dragon Ball, and it's just
think I may know
Oolong
what you're
shrinking
referencing.
himself down small enough to look at Bulma's vagina? And it's like, tune in next time to see what Oolong sees.
See, like,
You know,
what were you gonna say? Go ahead.
wait, me?
Yeah, were you about to say something?
I think the thing with Oolong is that he has bad thoughts, but he doesn't have bad actions, and that's as far as I can.
Yeah, take it away,
Well,
He
Grape.
has bad actions, but he doesn't, I guess, actually go into actual sexual abuse like
Well,
Roshi does.
Yeah,
No,
I have to disagree with
I'll
that.
disagree with
actually
that.
committing sexual assault.
All right.
He kind of tries to, and that's in the next episode. But like,
Yeah.
in this
I guess
episode
I'm forgetting what happens in the next one.
Is the
so.
kidnapping monster like he's taking over this town and like trying to marry children? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
He-
but
he-
I think it's the reveal at the end of the episode that just shows you that he is powerless with women.
Yeah, but his
They're just,
intentions
like,
are very
lounging in
bad.
his house.
But that wasn't his intent.
Yeah, his
like,
Yeah, I
intent-
know. Well, that's what I
Not
mean. He
have
has
women
bad,
just
he has
hang out
bad
is
thoughts, but
bad.
he doesn't have bad actions.
So we've got both Bulma and now Oolong, who are absolutely obsessed with like just finding some sort of romantic partner, and not even like it's not a finding love or like even having sex. It's getting into the construct of a relationship. Bulma wants a boyfriend. Oolong wants to marry children.
He has multiple wives, or he's in the pursuit of multiple wives, but we're really getting ahead of ourselves.
God damn, I can't wait to hear
right
more
off the
about this
get-go.
Pretty much every main character other than Goku and possibly Krillin that's all they want is a relationship. Like Master Roshi just wants someone to cook for him and to
Is
look
this-
at. To, like literally look at.
Is this like some sort of like is there this subtle metaphor for like the silent struggle of Japanese relationships? Are people unable to find the platonic ideal that they're seeking in their romantic partnerships? What is the true angst at the heart of Dragon Ball? That's really what
I
we've
don't
got.
know.
here.
And why are fighters like exempt from this? Like active
Yeah.
training fighters.
Well, so
Very
Goku,
good
as we
game, I
concluded,
guess.
is an absolutely imbecilic fighting animal who just wants to harm as many people as possible.
Oh
That's
man,
gotta
are we
be
gonna start
down.
slandering Goku again? I got upset last time.
My favorite part of whenever I start talking shit about Goku is LOD getting actually mad.
I'm just so defensive of him because I think he's such a nice guy.
Look, listen, man.
You said he
I
was
like
gonna.
that
You
we're
said he was a
providing a
bad friend,
counterpoint
which I
that
like.
nobody
He
else
carried a
believes.
turtle to the ocean 200 miles. He's possibly the greatest friend. Yes, he has a fighting problem.
I respect that you're in his corner. You got to stand up for what you believe in. I think this is one of the things we're gonna hash out. Is Goku a raging asshole, or is he a good guy? We're gonna find this out through the course of this podcast.
All right, so who would like to take us off and kind of explain the beginning of this episode? What happens?
So,
I'll
what happened at the end of last episode? I was pretty drunk during that podcast.
It was the
leave the
Roshi
island,
episode. It was the end. They left the island, and then we got the end of like the Pilaf and the gang thing. Like things went very
I think
bad.
I think they're just
Right.
going off to find another Dragon Ball. They're trying
Well,
to cover like a
Pilaf's-
Dragon Ball episode.
right. Well, Pilaf's also it left off on their sub sinking.
Yeah, they were gonna
We did-
die
we
and
discussed
drown.
that in great
Oh, yeah, 'cause
detail.
you just
and
have
then
a
we'll
submarine.
talk about
That
it.
makes sense.
Yeah. The you see Pilaf's hat float to the surface of the water, and then boom, credits. So
Now, hold on. I apologize for going parenthetical this early. But is it possible, like here on Earth, for me, Peter Kelly, to just go and purchase a submarine?
I mean, if you had the funds, probably.
Could I just commute in a submarine every day?
I mean,
Like, just.
They have those drug runner submarines that are
That's
like
true.
literal like plastic.
How do I
cylinders.
become a drug runner?
well, you have to write your local congressman.
Okay, all right. Well, this
So
is
not
this
only
is
does
something I'm
Pilaf-
gonna put on my to-dos to figure this out. But
Yeah,
so
stuntman,
Pilaf
continue.
really has connects because he's got a submarine and he's getting away with it in it right now.
well, he was in the process of getting back to Goku and company to get the Dragon Ball back that Master Roshi had gifted to Bulma. But Master Roshi gave him a little going away present. Smashed his the hull of his submarine in with his cane.
Kick ass.
Also murder. No, kick ass, but like murder.
Well, we don't know if he's dead
Yeah,
yet.
he's like, oh, I'm gonna drown him.
Yeah,
Where we left off, he was probably most likely dead because his hat floated up to the surface.
have you ever seen Das Boot?
Oh yeah, exactly.
Like, can you think
It's
of a more
basically-
terrifying situation in which to die than drowning in a submarine? Think about how fucked up that is.
But at the same time, you know, given events that would soon take place, and you know, mention the future take place at the beginning of GT. That's right. I looked at the episode descriptions on Hulu recently.
Excellent.
I think it would have been a pretty good move to have murdered Pilaf right there.
Yeah, well, it turns out he doesn't. He's not dead.
Yeah.
So
Anyway, but our friends Goku, Bulma, and now Master Roshi, or is it just Goku and Bulma?
Goku
no.
and Bulma.
No, Roshi comes back later.
Okay, so Roshi's
Yeah, it's
kicking back.
a pretty self-contained episode. It just takes place in the village. This very weird cultural village that has Native Americans, cowboys, a man with a goofy hat. It's just like all over the place. Maybe
That
some
sounds like a
Middle
pretty fun place. This sounds like
got-
the actual village that the village people are from.
Is this how the
Yes.
Japanese
That's actually,
viewed
yeah.
America in the 1980s? They're just like, yeah, there's cowboys and Native Americans still, just like in their
I think
movies.
this is the most American village, and I
They,
think it's
like-
probably the first village, like the first community of people that's depicted in the show.
yeah,
They
it's
just
definitely one of the
originally
first.
called it Montana. It's like, yeah, that's what it's like.
It's also
So
the first. Oh, continue. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh,
Oh,
no,
no, it's fine. I was just gonna say that it also has my favorite line probably in the show where Goku pats an old lady's vagina to see if she's a man or a woman, and she responds blushing, "What a randy boy."
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. Ooh, what a randy boy! I forgot
Yeah,
about
I
that.
love it.
It's just the
Kids
joke
watching
never
that and
gets
just are
old.
like, sick, I'm gonna pull that off in school tomorrow. It'll be normal.
Next time they see their grandma, it's like,
Yeah. They're like, this will go over well.
yeah.
So
Goku
what?
did it.
So what
Yep.
happens?
Wow, grandma.
So what happens to
Goku did it.
Goku
He's a
upon
hero.
the arrival of this town? What does Goku and what do Goku and Bulma encounter, other than
Nothing.
these people?
And they're confused, so Goku punches a hole through the first door that he comes in contact with to open it.
Sick.
See, does this sound like a good dude?
Yes. Admittedly, that sounds bad.
The only comments, did you think to try the doorknob? And you don't even think he responds. He's just like, fuck you, Bulma.
He's an uncultured bastard.
So what happens
Um,
when he opens the door?
So this
So, okay,
guy swings an axe onto his head, and the axe shatters.
What?
He gets a full-on axe to the dome. And it just explodes.
Why? Because he just punched through the door, I guess.
He broke into a house.
No,
Yeah,
It's
broke
because,
through the door. And this guy thinks it's Oolong that's coming to take his daughter.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Whose name's Poco Watha, by the way.
Wait, hold on. Hold the phone.
Poco Watha Priest is her last name, by the way.
Her name's Pokawatha Priest, and this
Okay.
is
So, guys.
the love interest.
Speaking of Oolong.
Oh
Current
wow.
love.
We've done aggressive sexism so far in the show. All right, we've done some really weird depictions of animals. And we've done lots of ugly shit so far. This might be when we finally get some of that good Dragon Ball racism. When we finally see them depicting Native Americans in a really culturally insensitive way.
We see you meet a lot of Native Americans in Dragon Ball.
You
At
do.
least a couple prominent ones.
Well, I think that I think you're talking about the Corinne and like the Corinne Tower one. That's actually like not an offensive depiction almost. It's kind of somewhat I don't know.
Yeah,
how
this one's less. Yeah, I know.
When
what
you're
you mean.
Japanese depicting Native Americans, but this one is just like total like white people dressing up as Native Americans and like naming like this guy's like wearing coveralls, like he looks like a janitor, and he has like a Brooklyn accent, and he names his daughter Pokawatha and gives her like a headband to wear.
Seems about right. Seems about right.
It's like something in like an old Bing Crosby movie or something.
Oh god.
You know, they get dressed up like this to like evade the bad guys. And there's a bunch of really insensitive jokes. So our poor dude Goku's gotten an axe to the dome, and I'm gonna guess he's pretty curious. why Homeboy tried to brain him with.
Yeah, what's up
you
with
know,
that? How does he respond? Gray Fox, what's going on here?
And does he respond? Who knows? I haven't watched it in a while.
Okay.
I don't remember
Does anybody remember what
Why
happened?
did you do that? That really smarts. And he's got this massive, like, bump, classic cartoon bump on his head. I think it's the first actual injury that Goku sustains, and probably sustains for a while.
Yeah.
So kudos to this old man with an axe.
Does that guy realize who he just fucked with? Like, obviously not, right?
I don't think he gets hurt again until he gets like stung by bees.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
So
Pretty
does-
mild in comparison to getting hit by an
So
axe.
Stuntman, do you remember? Do you remember if
pretty bad?
does Goku like go after this guy, or what does this guy say to Goku? Do
Well,
you
he kind
recall?
of just says, "Hey, what the fuck?"
Yeah.
But immediately the guy, launches into his explanation. He thought that Goku was this mysterious shape-shifting entity known as Oolong, who has been terrorizing their village and kidnapping their daughters.
Do we
I
know?
completely forgot that Oolong was shapeshifting.
Do we know that he's shape-shifting at the time? Like what?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you do.
They thought that he transformed into a little boy, which is why he thought he was Oolong.
Makes sense considering he wants
Oh.
to marry children.
So, but
I mean, it
does
just
Go-
would make
yeah.
it like
Yeah, and
that's a pretty big
that's
cover
important,
story.
that all the girls that he steals in Pokewatha, they're like little girls. Like tiny little girls
Oh,
that he wants
jeez.
to marry.
And
It's
again,
like
we've established his motives are clean.
if you want to marry a little kid, somebody's like, okay, you need to go to jail. If the follow-up is that no, this person wants to marry a little kid is a little kid, people are like, that's cute. And
Oh yeah, everybody says that.
pretty much that's the best way to get away with it.
Well, he is a little kid, Oolong.
He is? Oh, okay. Well, then
Yeah,
this kind of
he's
adds
only-
up.
I think he's
Do
only
they
like
ever
8 years
establish his
old.
age?
No, I don't
He's only
know.
like 8 years old.
Oh really?
Okay, well, I'm definitely taking away my
Is that like
pedophilia
in
stuff.
in dog years where it's like comparable to dog years? Where, like, an
He has
adult-
such
I don't know,
a-
I thought Oolong was like definitely like an adult, like because he talks about scamming people. He like scammed this massive palace that you see at the end of the episode.
And
he
he's
went to
got that,
he went to shapeshifting
Yeah.
school,
He's got
Yeah,
that
it's
gravelly
like-
voice.
clown school for kids or something.
So I
Maybe-
should probably say that I've been watching it in Japanese, so it might be the translation might be a little different. But
Oh, excellent.
He is voiced by a child voice actor.
Oh no, kidding.
in the dub, it sounds
or-
like he's.
He's like
dubbed by,
this
a dude
grumbly
that's
old
been
man in
changed
the other
for,
one.
like, 20 years.
Yeah. He
Talks
does
like
sound
this, Goku.
Yeah, he's fucking what's his name from Who Framed Roger Rabbit? He's Bob Hoskins.
He kind of does sound like him. So yeah, he's like this grimy kind of creepy dude. That's what his voice sounds like in the
He looks
English.
like Bob Hoskins.
So he's a
Voiced
kid.
by
How about
Jim
that?
Durante.
Interesting. Well, Bulma's like what, 14, 15,
Yeah.
16.
16.
16.
Pretty
And then
much
like
an
her and
adult.
Yamcha are presumably around the same age, and so Puar too then. And then because Puar went to school with Oolong, we can assume that he's like in his teens, like Goku. Is that
I
decent
don't know
logic?
how old Puar is.
Okay.
I don't think it's-
I just love that they casually mention that they met at shape-shifting school. Like it's a thing. That,
I think I missed that. on my
This is a
watch
different
there.
universe that these people live in. All right. So anyway, we're off topic. So how do they encounter Oolong? So Oolong's trying to kidnap Pokewatha.
So,
And he-
Oh, come on.
So how do
So the
Goku,
guy is
yeah,
telling
Goku and
Goku
Oolong
that-
meet? Stuntman, please. Sorry.
no, that's all right. So the guy is telling, for whatever reason, Oolong always gives an exact, precise time for when his arrival will be, and make sure your daughter is out there. I mean, we figure out why he gives such a precise time.
I
but
can't
it's not
wait.
revealed yet.
So, dude, presumably Goku's concerned about this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So the guy tells him,
not so
well,
much
my daughter's,
concerned as
you
just
know,
willing to help.
Well, it's mostly I think for the Dragon Ball because it comes up with the old lady that calls Goku Randy Boy. She has a Dragon Ball.
Oh,
Have you
really?
encountered the lady who's totally into it yet?
Oh, that makes sense actually, because that's how they
I
get
don't-
to the village, right? They get to the
Yeah,
village
yeah.
because the
Yeah,
dragon
with the
radar.
Dragon radar.
Duh.
Yeah, because they got the
Like, I know
radar.
there's one around here, and this old lady's just like, I've seen one before, and she pulls out her Dragon Ball, and they like have this contract where if they get rid of Oolong and get the girls back, then she'll give them the Dragon Ball. So Goku's like all in, like I get to fight somebody, I get to save somebody.
It's
Awesome.
like a fairy
That's
tale.
plot. Okay, so that's the plot. How do they meet? And how do
Oolong
Goku
and-
and Oolong meet?
Well,
Yeah.
this is
So
where
it's
my
a-
FM7 cross-dressing note comes in. So
Oh, excellent.
Oh, yeah, I
nice.
forgot about
They got a
that.
plot. They come up with their own scam to out-scam the scammer here.
Oh, excellent.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm gathering.
It's a double
I
grip.
think Stuntman probably will do this better justice than I will. So
Well, I don't know, but so Bulma basically says, to the old lady whose name's Paozu, we'll get in, if you give us your Dragon Ball,
yeah,
2017.
if you give us your Dragon Ball, we'll eliminate this Oolong character for you. So Bulma's plan is to have Goku dress as a girl to take, I forget the little girl's name. What was it? her name again?
Pokowatha.
Pokowatha's place in the specified, drop point.
Oh, excellent.
Where he kind of turns his back, so he dresses up in like this babushka and this dress.
He's got
With
the,
his,
he's got, like the paisley like hat on.
Dude, how you gonna talk
How
shit on
little girls
Goku?
dress. That's just head on.
Now, if I know Goku, I would imagine Goku is not very happy with the clothes that he was wearing, right?
No, he's pissed.
No, not at all.
Definitely
Yes.
So
Love it.
Definitely not.
his tail's hanging out the back, and he's got his power pole hanging around his back. And Oolong comes crashing into town right on schedule. He breaks the banner for the entrance to the town, the gate to the town.
What a jerk.
He's taken the form of this giant pig demon with horns, and
Nice.
he's like 20 feet tall. And he comes in this nice white tuxedo with a bouquet of flowers. And he naturally
He's got a
assumes
middle
that
part.
Perfect.
He's about to
Into it.
kidnap this poor girl.
You know,
He's all dressed up like she's into it.
he naturally assumes Goku is Pokowatha, and Goku, Goku's really got to pee for some reason.
Because he's
and he's-
Goku.
excitement.
And he's shaking. So,
He's about to lose his virginity.
Oolong
That's for the
mistakes
excited,
his
yeah.
Oolong mistakes his trembling for nervousness, and so I don't know if someone else wants to take it from here.
So one of the things I want to ask.
Okay.
So this shape-shifting school. Well, we can go on forever about this, but people could just change into things, and I don't understand if there's any limits to it. Is this ever defined?
It's
Do we need to-
poorly defined.
It's definitely poorly defined.
As I was just watching, there was so many inconsistencies in the shape shifting itself. Like, apparently Oolong retains his actual strength and kind of constitution. Like, this little boy comes out later and hits him with like a slingshot rock, and he's like totally hurt and like totally pissed off. But at the same time, he can step through a house, and he can produce a bowl of hot ramen that he burns his thumb on. Like, there's no physics going on here at all.
Hey man, it doesn't matter how strong you are. That shit's hot. It's gonna burn you.
Yeah,
That's true.
Ramen is hot. Period. Be careful
But like,
with it.
is the ramen like an extension of his actual like body? Like, it's certainly not an illusion because it's hot enough to burn him. So it's just
Yeah, he's just inventing things. This is
Man, there
magic.
are no rules. And
Yeah.
and we learn. I don't know if we should say this yet, because no, we definitely shouldn't. So
We'll get there,
I'm
so-
kind of remembering what's happening now. You guys have done a good job of igniting that memory in my brain, and now this episode is starting to appear to me.
the wheels are turning.
I remember Goku peeing. He's like peeing. He's holding his thing up like this, and he's got his wiener out. And all of a sudden, Oolong realizes that maybe this isn't what he thought was going on.
So yeah, and
Well,
he
so
didn't
back
really
up
have a
I think-
specific.
Oh,
he
hold on.
came for one of the girls.
We missed something important that happens too, in which Goku feels helpless, and I think he asked Bulma for help. So wait, I'm getting the chronology wrong because something pretty funny happens with Bulma and Oolong, but I don't know if
Stuntman,
it's
you
after.
said back up a minute. What were you gonna say?
Oh, I was gonna say that before Goku runs off, but before the big reveal that he's actually a boy, Bulma comes out and I guess maybe I'm misremembering this, but
I think I got it.
okay. So what happens is he is afraid that he might be scaring Goku with his form. And so he transforms into what appears to be like a young Vincent Price.
Oh, I remember this. Yeah, the guy in the trench coat.
There it is.
Yeah.
He's
And-
got the white tux on still, I think, too.
And
It's very
Yeah,
debonair.
yeah.
And immediately, Bulma's just like completely smitten, and this is her weakness apparently that Toriyama has given her. That we lost Jugdish.
Oh, he'll be back. He'll be back.
Ew.
Classic.
There it is.
All right, sorry.
Um,
I caught most of that though. It was just moving slowly,
oh yeah.
and it was getting good.
It's a good thing. I
Yeah, this
totally
is a pretty
forgot
good
about
part.
it.
So this is Bulma's weakness. Whenever she sees a hot guy, she is completely helpless. It doesn't
Hey,
matter if this guy
folks.
was just.
Who can't relate to that?
I mean, she gets pretty. This is like pretty explicit, I thought. I mean, and this is like where the show gets into the really perverted territory because she sees this Vincent Price looking dude, and I don't know if he makes a comment about her being a real woman or something, but she just pulls open her jacket and pushes up her boobs and just like is like pressing her like breasts like
No
straight
way.
at- just like
Yeah.
check it out, like I'm a woman, and then it cuts to this long imagination of just like motorboating these massive titties.
What?
I don't
How
remember
is this
that.
so loud? How
Again,
is this a
this
thing
show
we show
is-
children?
Yeah.
It's so fucked up because it's like maybe one of the most explicit sexualizations I've seen in a children's cartoon.
So
I have no memory of this.
Next to Bulma's flashing, that I think I don't even know if you guys talked about that.
Oh
last
yeah,
episode.
no, we
Oh,
did.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
cover that.
it's been covered.
Oh god.
You know, when we first decided we were going to do this podcast, I knew we were going to talk about how ridiculous the show was, but I did not honestly think that I was going to realize how wildly inappropriate this television program is.
Yeah,
I
it's
was like,
really
oh, yeah,
kind of
that's a
It's
silly
insane.
show.
experience
It's a
for
very
all
silly
of
show.
us.
I would not let my children watch the show.
No, it's
Stakeout's
some
children,
serious.
though.
There's some serious like
They need
sexism,
one.
gender
Yeah.
roles issues going on. I mean, there's two
Yeah.
references to women cooking. Like that's what they do. Like Oolong sees
That's-
the power pole on Goku's back and makes a comment. Oh, is that your rolling pin?
Oh, Jesus.
And then later makes a comment like, "Oh, I just wanted these women to cook and clean for me, but all they do is lay around." And the girl's like exercising, like drinking a smoothie. I think she's drinking a cocktail actually.
Nice.
It hasn't gotten any better in 2016 with Dragon Ball Super. You'd be.
Oh man.
Oh, no
yeah?
kidding.
Jesus.
Oh, that's surprising. I figured
There-
they'd
I was
have to
just
be like,
watching it the
oh,
other day.
reel it in.
I was watching it the other day, and Master Roshi is, up to his full antics, and out of nowhere, Chi-Chi materializes a frying pan and whacks him on the head.
Classic.
I was
She's
actually
always got
surprised.
one.
That's classic.
I was watching a more like maybe 5th season Dragon Ball episode, and Krillin was doing dishes, and I was like, "Whoa, that is
Like, we're making
that's
progress here.
serious,
That's really
like,
just
great
that's really just a
That is
commentary
something,
on
for Christ's sake.
Krillin, you know. All right,
They will
so
actually have like
People
Goku
listen to that, yeah.
gardening or something.
So- Oolong in handsome young trench coat wearing Vincent Price form has had visions of motorboating Bulma, and then Goku starts to pee. Now is that when Goku starts to whips it out?
Right.
I think that's when it happens.
I
And then
love
what
how, like, the
happened?
two things that they see is like imagine you're storyboarding this, and you're like, okay, so he transforms into Vincent Price. Next shot, he's motorboarding Bulma.
Yeah,
Shot
yeah.
after that, we have a child peeing.
This guy's unbelievable.
They're like, perfect, do it.
Sign it up. All right, so what happens?
But this is pretty much where the action of the episode starts.
Yeah.
I would think so.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then I
Shan's
think
falling apart.
Oolong then transforms into a bull, and this is I actually thought this was maybe like the wittiest joke of the show is that Goku says, "What are you, a cow?" And Oolong says, "I'm a bull. Can't you tell the difference?" And it's like referencing all like Goku's gender, like total like
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
complete idiocy. So it's like, all right, that's pretty good, Dragon Ball.
When this happens,
Now-
Bulma is immediately distraught that this dude has disappeared. She's like in a panic. Like, what happened?
I can't
What
even
happened to that guy? Where is he?
To begin with, as apparently she's like one of the smartest people in the world, and
She's
she
like,
knows.
I'm finally gonna
it's
get
like an evil man.
motorboated.
She's like, I don't give a shit that this guy kidnaps women. Like,
No,
take
no,
me.
no. He's hot. So at this point,
Bulma.
he turns into a bull and runs away because why? Like he runs away and Goku doesn't know, right? And we don't know
Got
why.
5 minutes for each transformation phase. I guess transforming in general, and then he'll turn back into pig oolong, so he bolts out of town because he's about to
and that's
transform
why
back into a pig.
it's the time frame, right?
Yeah. So
Uh-huh.
so he can transform to anything with it for 5 whole minutes, but then he's got to change back, and he's got like a 1 minute refractory period.
It's a
wait,
1
have
minute
you seen
That
cooldown.
was rule of the shape changing.
Have we seen him in his natural form yet?
Only in the
Yeah,
only
well,
in
you
those
do.
like cut to commercials, right?
No.
No, he
no,
actually
'cause
runs
they've
him
been
out of
doing
town.
this.
He runs
runs-
out of the town and like hides behind a wall. And I think is he smoking a cigarette when he's leaning against the wall?
He's doing like a very
No, he's
casual
whistling.
lean. Yeah,
Okay, and
whistle.
then Goku like runs past him and like asks where that like pig thing went.
Okay, here's where I asked the question I've wanted to ask the entire episode. Why the fuck is he dressed like Mao Zedong?
Yeah, he definitely is dressed like Chairman Mao. It's very confusing.
They make a joke later on about his outfit looking like something. I forget what the exact
Yeah.
joke is. That's the only time they reference his communist outfit.
Yeah, that he's dressed as a great leader.
It's just
But
one of
later
those
on,
things.
he drops it, right? If I as I remember him in Dragon Ball Z, he really finally adopts the Bob Hoskins persona, where he has like the suspenders and like the white wife beater and stuff.
He
and he's,
settles
like,
down.
crazy looking at all times.
He's retired.
Yeah,
He's dressing like
he's
his
retired.
character.
You know, this is this is after the Cultural Revolution is over. So, but he's hanging out behind the rocks, and Goku goes over and says, "Where'd that big scary guy go?" Right?
Mhm.
Or no,
He
the
went
Vincent
that
Price
way.
motherfucker.
Something like that,
No,
right?
Yeah.
he's chasing the
That was just, like, off the
'cause
cuff.
He was trying to fight him.
Yeah,
I think.
Bull.
He had to have said
Right,
something like
okay,
that.
Okay.
But then he admits that he can't find him. He goes and heads back to the village, and Oolong says, "Hey, if I let him go back and let the villagers think that he ran me out of town, my reputation is destroyed. So he's got to think quick and transform into something." So he transforms into this giant, I don't know what it is, like a robot / mech
Hell
with a
yeah.
giant cup of
Okay.
ramen.
Yeah, this is the ramen scene.
Well, ramen robot, of course.
Oh,
yeah.
explain the
Yeah.
ramen thing in
Well,
detail.
He wants to cook. He says to Goku, like, if you don't leave town now, I'm gonna put you in the soup and eat you like a dumpling. And Goku's like, I don't give a shit.
So basically, he knows Goku's gonna kick the shit out of him, and he's trying to scare him. Is what's going
Not
on.
yet.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
think that's happened yet, actually.
Okay.
Has that?
Well,
I mean, am I wrong about
Goku's
that?
told-
They do the breaking through the brick thing, but I don't know at what point that happens.
Yeah, that right now I think. But Goku pretty much calls his bluff from the get-go.
Nice.
He's-
Goku rules.
he's- some little
Fanboy.
village- some little village
Is he
boy,
calling his bluff or does he just not know any better?
Yeah,
I
Goku's
just-
fearless, right?
He's got his suspicions, but he doesn't voice them. But you can tell that he's not intimidated at all.
He's not buying what he's selling.
Right.
Okay.
So this little boy
Goku
comes out
could
of
also
nowhere.
just be too stupid to not know, not be able to assess.
That's
Yeah,
what I was
very
trying
well
to say,
said.
but in a more polite manner.
Yeah, Gray Fox said that a little bit more politely than you did, but he was insinuating as much.
I mean, he's killed a dinosaur, so
Several.
That's
like a
true.
robot.
We
It's like,
definitely know he's ruthless. So the guy shows up in robot form, sporting only the spiciest of the ramen, and pretty much everyone would normally be terrified by the prospect of ramen so spicy.
Yeah, this is actually
But-
kind of blowing my mind now. So he
Goku.
turns into a guy who has a bowl of ramen, as you were saying, but
Yeah,
the ramen burns him, even though it's part of his tactile
own ramen.
transformation.
which is
yeah,
part of
like
his
he
bond.
made the ramen. Like, I
So
don't know, maybe it's
technically,
blood or
it could be
something.
like his elbow.
Yeah,
If you
exactly.
want to break
Yeah,
it
it
down
could
to
be
that type
anything.
of science.
It could be his literal cum.
Oh god. It could be that too, yeah.
I keep
Elbow
elbow the story
cum.
more.
This is Dragon Ball, after all.
That's true. Well, they push it. There's never fluids involved. I don't think I've ever seen any Dragon Ball. I mean, other than piss, but that's a different
Wait, I
story
like
altogether.
There's plenty of piss in Dragon Ball.
We could be dealing with Scarlet Witch rules here,
Oh,
where
okay.
it's not so much that he changes, but he changes the perception of everyone around him.
Oh wow.
So they think that he's this
picture.
big thing. But wait, that falls apart because
Why does he burn
you're okay.
himself?
Why
It
is he?
falls apart
Well,
'cause-
why does he burn himself? And how does he?
Maybe he's a
stomp
really good
through
actor.
The person's building.
Maybe
Well,
just
he
method
later
acting.
turns himself into like a ladder that they can use and like useful
Right.
things.
The
like that.
fuck?
Yeah, Goku turns him
Yeah.
into an oar at one point to paddle a boat, and he's
Yeah,
like
so,
drowning.
yeah.
Very circumstantial.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. We don't know. Anyway,
There's got to be. I will bet literally my grand vast fortune that there's oolong fetishes out there.
oh, of course.
Of being able to transform into a useful product. I guarantee this is a thing.
Oh, without question.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't dare Google it, but
So Goku,
Well,
Ramen Knight. Does he call his bluff again, or like what happens from here?
this little snot-nosed kid, literally snot-nosed, like he has a huge thing of snot like coming out of his nose, hits him with a slingshot, and Oolong is in serious pain and is like rubbing his head, being like, "You little brat!" Blah! And then Goku's like, "Oh, this guy's a total pussy." So, and then
yeah, at that point
Oolong
he's
turns
like,
into a bat and tries to fly away, thinking that Goku isn't going to be able to follow him. But we all know that Goku is not limited by dimensions in his movements.
No, of course not.
yeah, he's got a cloud
Well,
that
to
can
test-
fly.
He's got a fucking cloud.
What's up, Stuntman?
To test Goku's strength for himself, he he produces this stack of bricks, and
Oh, yeah.
tells, "Well, you're so strong. If you think you can beat me, then break these bricks." And Goku does it effortlessly.
So
He
is
does it
he,
with his finger.
so
Yeah.
is
Pushes
he
his
like
finger through the bricks.
is that stack of bricks like an extension of his body that Goku ends up breaking?
he loses
I
a
don't
foot.
know.
This is blowing my mind.
Yeah. This is all upsetting, to be honest.
I don't think Oolong truly understands the nature of his incredible power.
Yeah.
Yeah, I assume the bricks were just like laying on the ground, like.
I will
That's
say I'm
possible.
glad it does make me happy to know that they ultimately found many practical uses for his shape-shifting ability. I think that a lot of people have powers in this show that people just don't use to any great effect.
Well, Bulma
Well-
even says that's why they keep him around, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but what is his
See,
motive?
Bulma,
think so.
ever the utilitarian, she figures things out.
Shapeshifting leads to the two biggest kind of like life-saving moments in the season. Actually, I don't want to spoil anything because we're not
Oh,
there yet.
we got
but-
ages to go,
they've
baby.
got bar hanging out too, so like they have their bases covered. I don't know why they would keep around like this creepy pig dude.
I think they just like I mean, it gets pretty bad, like how they start abusing Oolong like pretty.
Oh yeah, they
badly
treat him
later.
so poorly.
They have that whole piggy thing.
Yeah, that's so fucked up. Goku kind of
And
participates, but it's all
sad.
Bulma. Bulma is mean. I mean, granted, he's not a good guy, but Bulma is very abusive to Oolong in the future.
Yeah.
She.
Bulma's a mean person.
Yeah. Well,
He also puts up with a lot of shit.
Yeah,
and
a
she's
ton.
Like, she's like the only intelligent person in this entire posse.
that's pretty much.
Yeah.
And maybe
Yeah.
Roshi.
That's pretty true. So how does the confrontation between Goku and Oolong come to a conclusion, or like what happens? Like,
So Oolong transforms into a bat and flies away, not thinking Goku's going to be able to follow. But he's got the Nimbus, so he immediately takes flight, and he's gaining on Oolong, and Oolong transforms into a missile.
whoa.
And
Like a bullet
he
bill.
starts, right. He starts
Yeah,
weaving
that's
in
just
between
like a better idea. Why didn't he do that to begin
Yeah.
with?
I don't know.
Significantly faster.
He's young. He's eight.
Not fast enough though.
Yeah.
Oh, right. It's obvious.
Still in restraint.
Yeah.
So he's weaving between these mountains, and then Goku's, matching his speed. But eventually, Oolong runs out of time, and he can't hold his form anymore. And so he reverts back into little pig Oolong and falls out of the sky,
Hell yes.
which basically forces
Sorry.
Goku into making a decision here, whether or not to save him.
Oh, whoa. Of course he does.
Well,
Yeah,
he does.
yeah.
Natch.
Well, he needs to get the girls back, so hopefully
Oh,
he's
right,
gonna
yeah.
be smart enough
Right.
to even think about that.
Goku
But
only
this
likes
does lead
it when
to
he beats the
a very
life out of
deep
him.
line from Goku. So I think Oolong, as he's falling, he says like, "I'm not ready to die," and Goku says, "Because you haven't been good." And I had to rewind it because I wasn't sure I understood what Goku was saying, and it was kind of like, if you're not ready to die because you're a bad person. So if you're good, like you'll be accepting of death. It's like
Yeah.
a very kind of philosophical statement.
Then
Just like
Goku.
little fighter boy.
Didn't think he was
I don't
capable of
know.
that kind of depth, did you guys?
Are we really
Stuntman,
giving him
does
that
the
much
line?
credit?
Does the line get
Yeah, I
translated
don't- I am.
the same way? Did they say the same thing?
Sounds like
No.
a mental dick.
No, that's definitely like a localization. That doesn't happen in
Did they
think
share a
just kinda
moment?
there's-
Impressive.
Damn right.
So what happens to these
This is
kidnapped
awesome.
girls?
So Oolong, back at the village, Goku's got Oolong all tied up in rope, and the villagers force Oolong to march all the way to where he's keeping these girls captive, and so they all follow him. And
Dog
Oolong,
visit.
Yeah, man, this is our second dog on the show.
I know.
This is a thing now. This rules.
Dog present.
Dude, dog cameo part 2. Let's, please.
Yeah.
Let's,
Oh,
yeah,
no,
absolutely.
He's camera shy.
Oh, no,
There you go, bud.
not an option, pup.
Oh.
So let's, what is it? So we had a female greyhound named Polly last week. Let's introduce this
Oh,
week's
yeah.
dog.
That
This
was
is
pretty special.
Colin. He
Colin.
is a Bichon
Oh,
Frise and
Colin.
a Cocker Spaniel mix.
So he's a Bichon Spaniel
Oh.
mix. Look at that little curly little son of a gun. He
Yeah,
looks a
yeah,
little bit
Another
like a
character
wampa.
from Instagram.
He is a bit of a womp, but I always thought he kind of looks like Falcor because he's got a really long body.
Excellent.
And he's got this really funny, and he's like looking down.
Well, let's let him go. He's not too happy right now, but
Yeah.
we're really
yeah,
happy.
He's running away now.
So this is a thing that we
Scam
have to
shy.
do now. I mean, we basically have to, a prerequisite for each guest that joins us now is to have a pet cameo. All right, so back to what happens. So
All right.
what happens to the girls?
So Goku is not Goku. Oolong's leading the entire village to his giant mansion, and Goku correctly deduces that Oolong's plan is to transform into an ant and scurry away. But
How does he figure that out?
Worst getaway,
Good
imagine.
looking out, Goku. That's actually pretty.
Yeah, that's a
Pretty
pretty.
smart.
he deduces it exactly, completely correctly, and he calls him out on it. And so he leads him to his giant, mansion.
How did he get this
And he
mansion?
He apparently swindled somebody out of it.
Nice.
I don't remember the details.
How does one swindle a
Yeah.
giant home out of
He
someone?
says, they even asked him, like, how did you manage to get a place like this? He's like, well, I had to scam a lot of people.
Oh, nice. So he
Well,
just
that's
Ponzi
what-
schemes.
He's not a kid. Like, Oolong, to me, can't be a kid because he's
No,
like,
he could be a business
engaging in some
prodigy.
high-level kind of, like, shady business propositions here.
I need to ask an important question. Though.
I mean, he could be kind of like that kid from Blank Check, though, so I don't know.
Preston Waters. Presto the
Yeah,
Pesto.
Thank you.
Gray Fox, what were you gonna say?
Dragon Ball.
Stuntman, when they're walking to the to his palace, is that when Oolong offers to transform into something that's easier to carry for Bulma? I don't want to give it away, but it's a very important.
I'm not remembering this.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and say it's at some point in the future, but Oolong complains that like he doesn't want to be heading. I think this is where it is. He doesn't want to be going to this palace or walking, whatever. So he turns himself into a pair of panties and asks Bulma to put them on to carry him.
I don't know if that was
happen
this
in a later
episode.
episode.
I think
Yo,
this
you
happens
can't
later.
fuck on that scale.
No, he doesn't. Does he really?
He does.
The logic is flawless.
I wrote it down.
Yeah, it's a later episode.
All right, I can't wait to discuss that in excruciating detail.
There's some good Oolong moments yet to come. For
Yes,
sure.
no, hold on.
Yeah.
We're not done yet.
The
We're not
next
done
couple
yet.
Episodes,
Yeah.
definitely.
So,
What a treat.
what happens when they go in the
house?
house? Like, what's going on in the house?
They go to the
So-
house and it's just like a bunch of like girls like exercising and like hanging out and like Oolong is like,
Literally.
yeah, I've been
Of course
trying to
it
get
is.
them to like clean and like keep after the house.
Aren't there, like, 10 or
continuing our
12?
sexist trend. And then Oolong has a line where it's just like, "Hey, I'm a pig."
Aren't there like 12 girls? Like, there's like a crazy. He's kidnapped like a
Three.
whole. Oh, it's only
Yeah.
3?
And then,
Oh, I
their
remember it being
parents-
way more.
their
I don't know
parents
why.
come with them, but I don't think like the kids are too excited about leaving.
One of the girls says
Yeah,
like,
no.
"Oh, sorry, I forgot to write. I've just been so busy." And
Oh,
the girl's like,
Jesus.
Me too. And she's like drinking like a glass of wine.
So they have Stockholm syndrome? Like, what? They're okay with being kidnapped?
Apparently.
Wow.
No, just like
None of it really
Sundays
adds up
indoors.
because if Oolong has this awesome place, and I can't see why he'd have such trouble like getting people to come hang out at it. And it's not even like these girls are married to him; like they're literally just like taking advantage of him, which is
yeah, he's just like that jack off rich kid who throws parties and like thinks that everyone
Yes.
likes him because
that's
of that.
exactly what it is. Because he
Yeah.
walks in and the girls are immediately like, "Oh, did you get this? Did you get that? Did
No
you get
way.
this?" And he's just like, "Oh no!" Like head hanging down, like.
So you're
Why
telling
does he
me?
want to acquire even more girls then?
Yeah, like
Well,
what's
Because I
up?
think he's
Said.
failed up
Oh.
until this point to get them. to
Yeah,
do what
none
he
of them are
wants to
listening.
do.
None of them will listen to him.
Stuntman.
Yes, what he
He's
says,
completely.
what he says is this: "I just wanted a quiet girl who will listen."
Oh man.
God, but can you blame him?
Poor
Unbelievable.
Oolong stuck in the friend
So you
zone.
mean to tell
What a
me that
tragedy, you
the
guys.
resolution of this entire episode is that these young women are freed of their captivity and they're unhappy about it? They're unhappy that they've been freed?
I don't even know if they show them
Jesus
leaving.
Christ.
I can't even
Yeah, I
remember that. They
remember
may
them
just
leaving.
stay in his
The
house.
best part about their
He's
show is
in the
there's
house.
always a moral.
The morals are
Donates
insane.
it to the town.
We've got like, go grab people's crotches. They'll think it's cute. Women want to be held captive. If you want to die, it's only if you're scared of dying. It's because you're a bad person. This show is fucked up.
Yeah, but it's so real for me. You know what I mean? Just hits me right here.
There's
It's me right
I'm
here.
like, oh yeah, man, I learned a lot of good
We'd
lessons.
save a lot of
from
time
this.
if we just. We save a lot of time if we just preface the podcast by saying we don't endorse the views. Or
Yeah,
put a
we really
disclaimer,
need
watch
to.
at your
Yeah.
own risk.
But we
It's kinda like
experienced it.
It's kind of like watching the Republican debates. It's just like a hate watch for every sort of like moral kind of social question that comes up. It's just
Oh
like,
man.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
yet-
it's like we laugh because otherwise we'd cry.
Yes, exactly.
Well, that seems about.
So in the end,
What are you
Goku-
saying?
So they go to the girls' place and then they all get released. They're sad because
I don't know that
never
they do
have a
get
great
released.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Doesn't
I
really-
don't, I
just
don't think
leaves
they
and
ever
never comes
leave.
back.
There's no
Just
scene of them
leaves.
leaving or their parents taking them. I think they just move
Jesus
on and it's
Christ.
never spoken of again. Like, for all we know, they could just still be there hanging out.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't blame them. It is a pretty sweet
They're
house.
partying, man. They have no,
And they're
everything
coming
in
from
their
a village
life
that is
taken
literally
care of.
like clay huts that
Yeah.
are like these tiny little rooms. So just like the whole town should just move into this massive
Yeah.
house.
Oh yeah.
They've really just made it in life. Like they were the chosen ones.
Well,
Stuntman.
they do at least have one new house then.
That's
so
true.
That's a good
It's big.
deal. So-
Stuntman, you were about to say something. What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say that in the end that Bulma did get the Dragon Ball. So
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
They get the Dragon Ball.
Thanks for
I
getting
think
us
they're-
back on track.
I think they're at 5 now.
Yeah, so-
Five to go, and as
Okay,
we all
so-
know, 7. And then the big shit
More.
happens.
So
Oh.
they've got Ox Kings, and then they've got the one that Pilaf has.
Right.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
Oh damn.
Now, so if, as I recall, the way that it tends to go whenever they have to acquire the Dragon Balls, that like 1 through 7 are pretty much a cakewalk, and then there's always like some last one that's like it takes.
It's usually the last
14
one that's really
episodes to
hard.
go
Yeah.
far.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But
and they just basically do like, oh yeah, one episode they get a Dragon Ball, and if
Mhm.
each season is something like 30 episodes long or some crazy shit.
as the
Yeah,
seasons
it just gets
progress,
harder and harder.
like even into like Dragon Ball Z, it gets like way
Yeah.
harder to acquire them. They don't do it as
Right.
easily.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's because more
Really-
people know about them
Yeah.
and more people after them.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
But-
I think after this first dragon summoning, each season or each saga is its own Dragon Ball.
Yeah, well then they have the
From what I
tournament
can-
ones in
from what I can
between
tell.
too.
Right.
You know, like there's a Dragon Ball quest, and then there's a tournament, and then there's a Dragon Ball quest, and there's a
Yeah,
tournament.
because that's the year
Oh
off
yeah.
Yeah.
between the Dragon Balls coming back as
Yeah.
all right, we'll just go fight in a tournament and then we'll just go back down to Dragon Balls.
Dude, the tournament's so sick though.
What?
Oh man, it rules. I can't wait.
Yeah,
The tournaments are great, but I can see
The
where
tournament's
like
so good.
from one to the next you'd want the other one, right? Where like you do the quest, and then you're like, fuck all that, I just want to see them fight nonstop.
Yeah.
And then you see enough fighting, and you're like, oh my god, would they leave this tournament place? And then they go and find some more Dragon Balls.
Yeah.
So you go adventuring, you go fighting. I like it. It's a good, good
It's
system.
a good balance.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty good. I mean, there is a lot of fighting, like in the whole. They get into the whole tower, that muscle tower. or
Hell yeah,
whatever,
it's
and that's
Red Ribbon
basically
Army.
like a tournament because like every level is like a different like mini boss kind of a thing.
It has my
So
favorite
good.
villain in the history of Dragon Ball, Ninja Murasaki. I love him so
Oh, yeah.
much. He is
Oh,
He's
yeah?
so
the
good.
funniest guy ever. I cannot wait for that dude. Oh man.
Yeah, it gets pretty meta with that whole guy.
Yeah.
With that whole
So
thing.
we've got our Dragon Ball, and Oolong is convinced to come along somehow.
Yeah, did they really clear that up? Do we know why he goes, or like?
I think
because of the Dragon
no,
Balls?
That's the next episode. I
Yeah.
don't remember why he came along this episode.
This episode ends without that. Like when I was watching it on Saiyan Watch, and it just ends the second that the Dragon Ball hits Bulma's hand, and like that's it. It just
Hard cut.
yeah, it was a hard cut. They never show the
So we'll have
credits,
to
so I
tune in next week to find
yeah,
out.
I think we'll get it in the recap of why that Oolong joins in.
Can't wait.
Excellent.
So, important question. The episode is titled Oolong the Terrible. Is Oolong terrible?
Yes, he
Yeah, I
kidnapped
think
women
so.
to make them their
He doesn't
wives.
seem good.
Yeah, he
Does not
turned into an evil
Terrible,
thing.
terrible is a strong word. I would say Goku is more terrible than Oolong.
That is outrageous. That is outrageous. How could you say that?
Yeah.
I'm still not sold on this Goku character.
Oh man.
I will say that Oolong seems both terrible in his demeanor and terrible at getting a girlfriend.
Oolong changes
so
into
Oolong.
scary monsters and terrorizes villages so he can trick parents into giving their daughter up as
It's pretty
tribute.
bad.
So
I
he
was-
could
just to be
take them
clear, I was
home.
just trolling. I don't
Not a good guy.
think Goku's worse than Oolong.
Is
But I
this how
don't
we're
think-
wrapping up episodes? Like just seeing if the
Character.
title fits the episode.
Yeah, the new premise is that at the end of each episode, we're just
Does
going
the
to check
title
to see if
work?
the title checks out.
Yeah.
Turns out,
I
yes.
think,
Hard
I
yes.
think that whole episode works as a series of kind of like gotcha moments where it goes from like this big bad Oolong turns out to be this like weird creepy pig who turns out
Yep.
to be a total like would this be like an instance of like cucking or whatever that whole thing is of just like a totally like emasculated
Yeah, he's
masculine
supposed to be emasculated constantly to the
Yeah.
point that he wants to literally be warned by a woman
Yes.
later on. Yeah, yeah, he definitely has like
He's like a literal
definitely, like,
pay
classic
pig.
son.
Oh god.
He is. Yeah,
I think one thing we can
Oolong
all
the
agree
pay
on
pig.
is that we learned
Yep.
a lot.
we
think we all
learned,
learned
a
a lot.
lot. All
It's a
right.
very prescient
Well-
show, I guess. It's like very ahead of its time.
I
Dude,
just-
it is just like I said, like an early assertion I made about this. It is that is a basically series of fetishes brought to screen. That's like the whole program.
Hey,
That's
it
pretty
works,
accurate.
baby. It works.
It does work.
I just
it
wanted to
does
do
work.
this before we kind of go out. I'm pointing. You can't see it right now, but like Stuntman did this really cool picture of all of us, and I threw it on the top. I just wanted to shout him out.
Yes.
Stuntman
Oh,
did that. If
amazing.
you didn't know.
I've been wondering for the last like 30 seconds what the hell you were doing.
Yeah, so that's all
Oh,
Stuntman.
yeah.
That's dope. So thanks for that. That was
It
super
is.
cool.
I'm absolutely
Oh,
loving
yeah,
it.
absolutely.
Official logo now.
Yeah. And
That's the
Mr. Plain Man Piro, thank you for joining us. I hope you had fun.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks for having me,
Yep.
guys.
to the regulars, to our special guest. Fantastic episode. Really looking forward to episode 5. We have only a few hundred more episodes to go to complete it.
So yeah, if you want to come on the show, we definitely have time. So
We do. All right, guys. Have a great one. Talk to you soon.
thanks a lot.
You too.
Later.
Yeah, guys.
See you guys.